Hello and welcome to Gorilla and the Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. My name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and I'm here as always with my good friend John the Ginger Gorilla. Johnny, how you doing on this fine quarantined Sunday afternoon?
If you're watching this video, if you're seeing it, I'll describe it. I feel like I look so scraggly right now, right? So before quarantine hit, I was been growing out my hair, like just trying something different, just growing some flow. And obviously, it don't stop growing when quarantine hits. But what stops happening is being able to go to the barber just to get cleaned up. So I feel like my beard is looking scraggly, my hair's looking scraggly, but I feel like that's everyone right now. So that's tough. But if you're looking at us right now and going, God damn, what's wrong with these guys? If it's your first time coming into this, that's why we look like that. Because, we are filming this during quarantine season.
The content doesn't stop, baby.
Nah. And but that's why we look like that. We're not top notch right now, but it is what it is. We're out here, we're thriving.
Yeah, but you and I like to look at things from a positive standpoint, even in regards to quarantine. And what quarantine has allowed us to do is to go back to our New Jersey high school kid roots.
Whew.
With watching reality television, baby.
Let's go. So I wonder, like, you just said something. You said New Jersey high school kids. I wonder if this is, like, because I know everyone around us loves reality TV. Like,
yeah.
But we, like, hate it. Like, we don't love it in the sense of, like, oh, my God, I love these people all the time, necessarily.
Sometimes do.
Sometimes I hate watch these things. And I wonder if that's, like, everything, right? Like,
well, for me, it's like this. Sometimes, especially in times like this, where there's a lot of really negative energy out there, you turn on the news, it's nothing but death and sickness.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to turn on my TV and watch guys and gals from Staten Island get drunk and bang each other. That's it. Sometimes
guys and gals from Staten Island. I love how we throw the Staten Island in there because they're always from Staten Island.
Never from Jersey.
They're never from Jersey. And what we're referring to is Jersey Shore people. Most of them are not from Jersey.
The GOAT of reality TV.
Yes. But with that said, Kyle and I have decided to make this a reality TV show podcast this week. And we're calling it Rate Reality, right? So this week we're going to talk about Love is Blind and The Circle, two Netflix reality shows that Kyle and I both watched.
Chef's kiss.
Individually, and they're both amazing, right? So if you like reality TV shows, if you haven't seen it, I would suggest pausing. Go watch both of them. Put this in like that save for later tab on your YouTube and come back to it because it's going to be a fun conversation that we're having on it, and we're going to go and we are the same essence of this podcast. We're going to get geeky, we're going to get nerdy, we're going to get sweaty about these topics because we love these shows. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you could tell about my energy, but I've been so excited for the last couple of days to talk about this. And yeah. So, Kyle, what are we starting with here?
So I would like to start with Love is Blind. Now, I watched this a couple weeks ago when quarantine started, and John watched this actually this week.
Yeah, binge watched it. 2 days, people. Went through it in 2 days.
Although, that's the thing, though, with these two shows specifically, very easily digestible.
Oh, my God. It was crazy.
And I think we should start the conversation off with our thoughts on the premise of the show. And by the way, just full cards on the table. Sorry for moving my mic. This is a full-on spoiler-filled podcast. Yeah. We are going in depth. We're talking about the results of everything. Mm-hmm. We figured we could go spoiler-free, but that would take away from the fun of the conversation. And it's kind of hard to discuss reality television without discussing the events. It's not like you can talk about themes, characters, all this stuff because it's not there. It's not scripted. Well, sort of scripted, but it's not like a well thought out narrative and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So we figured we should just go full spoiler territory. If you want to know whether you should watch these shows or not, I'll speak for both of us. You should. Yes, what are you doing? Turn it on right now. So for those of you who don't care about the spoilers, let's get right into it. Love is Blind is basically a social experiment about whether or not people can find marriage without ever looking at someone at first. And they stick two people in these blocked off pods where you can't see each other, but you can hear each other, and you have conversations. I forget how many days you're allowed to have in the pods.
I think they did a week. because there were some people who said, "Oh, we dated every day." So I think they did 1 week. What I thought from the show was they did a week of each kind of step, right? So a week in the pods, then the week into the next section, right? That's kind of what I got out of it.
Could be.
So I think it was a week in the pods to find someone that you want to marry.
All right, boom. So, John, this is fresh on your mind, so I'd like to hear your thoughts right away.
All right. So, first things first. When I heard about the concept of the show, just the idea Love is Blind, I was like, oh God, I know what they're gonna do. I kind of know what agenda they're gonna do here. They're gonna take people who may not be the best looking, or like these people here, like people who might not fit together, and they're gonna try to get them together. I thought that was gonna be the premise of the show. I thought there's gonna be an underlying message of almost, hey, like, oh, just because you guys don't like it wasn't your physical natural thing, you guys do work together, and then you'd have these couples that come out. It is nothing like that. First of all, most of these people that they chose to highlight were beautiful, right?
Oh, they were all attractive, at least a little bit.
Now, there were people, I don't know if you noticed from the very beginning or you remember, there were some people who were not top tier people in my eyes. Okay, obviously so this whole thing's opinion based, right? Anything I say is half joke and then also like just also my opinion, right? So not everything I say is full me. Like, I'm gonna try to ham it up a little bit, joke up a little here. So if you get offended by anything, I apologize in advance. But you could tell that they took the better looking people, the better looking couples, and they're like, these are the ones we're highlighting over the length of the show. And I actually didn't think I was gonna like the show, and I loved it. That was the thing. So the premise was amazing. That like you have these people, they sit and they have to talk, right? That comes first, the conversation, the emotions, and then let's see if now when we put you together, if it will work. And
yeah,
I thought that was it was beautiful, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I teared up a lot there. Teared up a lot.
So, fun fact: I watched the trailer for the series after watching the show because I wanted to see something, and it proved me right. There were more people that matched, John.
Yes, I also read that on Reddit.
And they just never. I don't know if they made it past the honeymoon portion of it, or well, I guess it would be more so called the vacation. But yeah, we just never saw those people. And I got to be honest with you, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I think
you can only highlight so many. Yeah,
at a certain point,
it gets oversaturated. You can't follow along.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, because like what they did very well was I felt like I built connections with some of these people a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that if you had too many couples, you wouldn't have gotten that, which then it would have made the show less enjoyable.
Yeah, and also we don't know that let's say it's just one couple that made it. I'm not sure how many did. Outside of the people that were filmed or shown on the actual series, we don't know that they didn't have the same exact problems, storylines, themes as the other people in the show. So why double up on these things? You know what I mean?
One other thing I know is they only sent so many couples on vacation. Like the couples that we saw were the only ones on vacation. Also, with that said, here goes the spoilers. So once again, if you haven't watched, I'm starting now. Kelly and Kenny didn't go on vacation originally. They only went on vacation after Diamond and what was his name? Carlton?
Yeah.
Diamond and Carlton, after their fight and they like split, then they brought in Kenny and Kelly. There was only 5 couples the whole time. They just didn't edit it to make it look like that.
Wow. So Kenny and Kelly weren't even there.
No, Kenny and Kelly weren't picked to make the cut.
Whoa, that's wild.
Right?
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Will bring us into something that I want to get on a little later, but I just want to kind of take it chunk by chunk for the show. What did you think about the whole pod arrangement, though? Like, did you think that was like? I think that's a great way to start a relationship almost, in like almost being in that type of situation where you have to talk.
So yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Not necessarily without seeing each other. I'm not saying that, right?
Any situation in which you are isolated from your day-to-day life and you don't have a phone, you can't really watch TV, go on the internet. that experience is going to fester so many more intense thoughts and emotions than any other point in your life. It just is, because it's not it's its own isolated event, and that's all you're thinking and feeling about.
Mm-hmm.
I've had these moments where I've been away at camps and stuff. I used to volunteer for a camp every summer, and there was a sense of really big community there because I didn't have any of my day-to-day stuff with me. It's much more intense, the bond you grow with people. And I'd imagine these dates you're on with people where it's just you two, and also you're kind of just trying to focus on the person, not the way they look. I'd imagine that just like it brings such a quicker and much more almost saturated, intense emotional connection. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I like. I think so. What could be built over a longer time in the real world, like emotionally? I do think this is a way to make it get built quicker.
What's the really fast highway in Germany? Is it Germany?
Autobahn.
Regular life is like Route 21.
Yeah.
And this show is the Autobahn.
The Autobahn.
It's just a quicker way to get to the destination.
That's so true. That's very true.
And it works for some people.
And it was very interesting to see, because I was like, that sounds like, it seems like a fun thing to be in, like at least in the moment, right? Maybe without the stress of like, oh, I have to pick someone or I want to be picked to move on.
Would you go on? Would you do this as like a? Let's say it wasn't to pick marriage. Would you do this if it was like
an option in the dating world, like
the speed dating things?
Yeah, like if they had this over like a couple months, where like every weekend, maybe on a Saturday, you went and you did this. Maybe that's the new form of date. Bro, we just came up with an idea. Okay, we're trademarking this. No one could take it, right?
We might have to cut this out of the podcast.
I know this is our business idea right here. Okay, so we do this. We have speed dating, but pods like this.
Wait,
right,
dude, it's perfect for the quarantined world. We can't touch each other anyways. There's no open mouth kissing with strangers right now.
Boom, and oh god, dude, this is so good. So you get to build that connection. You get to come back. You sign up, and it's like maybe a how many months do you think it should be for once a weekend?
With how many people? Like multiple people throughout?
Yeah.
Let's go 3. 12
I was thinking 3 months too. Perfect then. I mean that means it works, right? So 3 months every Saturday for who knows how many hours. We'll work that out later. You switch around. You talk to people, right? And then at the end, you guys could choose if you want to take it and go to the real world. We'll buy like. So what we do is we set these up in big cities, or not, maybe right outside the big city, because cities are expensive and you're going to need a lot of space. So we organize it where we walk people in and out of rooms so you don't see the people you're dating, right? You have time slots where you have to arrive so that you don't arrive at the same time as the people you're dating. So maybe all the girls arrive at one time while the guys arrive at another time.
But if you're from Staten Island, you have to get drunk and bang each other.
Yes. But like, dude, this is a great idea. We just came up with a new way to date in this world.
Hey, man.
Because like, then you're from the same area. It's not like Tinder or anything where you're just like kind of like whatever. Like, oh, dude, this could be a thing.
Basically, what we're saying is we really like the concept of the show.
Yeah, it was a great concept. And which is so like I said before, it surprised me so much because I was like, I thought this was just gonna be like whatever. Like cheesy, almost like The Bachelor type of thing, like where it's like, yeah, it's a reality TV show, yeah, it's been doing well, but I'm not gonna like it, like type of thing. And then you start watching it, and you're like, holy crap, this is good. And maybe it also goes up to the editing and the production, but like the whole thing was put together amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And with that said, let's move on to our thoughts on the actual people on the show. Now.
Yes.
Usually, I would be more harsh in my judgments of characters on television when scripted, but I know that these are real people, so I'm not going to be...
Also, from the reunion show, we know that a lot of these people got super slack already on social media.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're not gonna be there.
Granted, maybe. I may have my things to say.
Yeah.
At certain points in regards to someone more surprising than some would think. but we'll get there as we go. So John, do you have a list of the couples shown on the show?
Yes. Let's start off with the first couple to get kicked. Well, kind of split. Diamond and Cameron.
Carlton.
Not Cameron. Carlton. Sorry. Diamond and Carlton. Yeah. All right. So when they were in the pod, I went and I was like, I think this could work really well. I thought they were going to they were going to click to an extent. Then I also thought the whole proposal, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, my thing was when Carlton was first on the show. Cards on the table, by the way. I had known what was going to happen with that because that's how I heard about the show. Someone showed me that.
Interesting.
But I put that in the back of my mind, and I was like, all right, let me just see what this guy was in the beginning to see if maybe this was like a weird progression or whatever. He seemed very, I don't know, like in one of the dates, it was with someone that was on one of the cast members, like one of the ones who made it long term. It might have been with Kelly. He like pretended to fall asleep while he was talking to her and stuff.
He seemed like so full of himself.
And then at one point he left during one of the dates, and I was like, "That's rude. You're kind of unlikable." Diamond, I was a big fan of right away. She seemed very nice. I like that she didn't enjoy that the joke by Barnett about her being a stripper. I like that she didn't take that well. And she seemed pretty genuine. So like when she decided to be with Carlton, I was kind of like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'm just not seeing something. Maybe it'll be shown throughout. Are we just having the full Carlton conversation right now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. They get to the honeymoon, or I keep calling it the honeymoon. They get to the vacation in Cancun, and Carlton's making these like really weird jokes.
So, dude, it was such a twist.
Yeah, it was like
From who he was.
It was like a heel turn in pro wrestling, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like just out of nowhere, like why are you being?
It didn't feel right.
Weird. No, it didn't feel like it was being natural.
Yeah.
And I get that he might have been nervous and just placing that nervous energy out there because he was going to reveal his secret. And so we're going to have this conversation. We are two straight men. We both recognize the difficulties of coming out. We have, I don't want to be that guy, but we have two very close gay friends.
Yep.
We discussed this with one of our gay friends about what this
situation
means to someone in the coming out scenario, and he kind of agreed with us. So I'm gonna let you go if you'd like to start off with your thoughts on what happened, and maybe we should describe it as well.
Yeah. So basically, what Carlton does is he sits her down, and he said it earlier in the show that he was fluid with his sexuality. So if you're still confused by what that means, it means he doesn't really care about gender when he gets into his relationships or sex. Yeah. He just cares about personality, right? So pansexual, I would say. I don't want to label him, but to wrap my head around it, I try to go to a closest thing I understand, which is, I mean, cool. But
whatever.
He goes to tell Diamond, and when he tells her, he's like, you're never going to love me again. You're never going to, you'll never be able to look at me the same.
Very
to be
defensive.
honest, it was almost like he was a sexual predator, right? That's kind of
how he was presenting himself.
That's how he, the secret he was going to tell was that, so I, raped someone, or I, did this, or I murdered someone. He made it seem like I was drunk driving and I hit someone and murdered them. He made it seem like something you look and it's super jarring. Now maybe that's just me being so used to people of different sexual preferences, because I'm more versed around it.
Yeah, and also he said otherwise, but I have a feeling, and again, I don't want to speak for him, but I have a feeling that he's had scenarios in the past where someone hasn't reacted positively to him telling them that.
And also another thing that I feel like I need to take in consideration is I'm from a kind of urban community, but not, I don't think as urban as where he was from. and I think it's
They're from Atlanta, right?
Yeah, which is weird because Atlanta is also more well known for, um, like gay men. I want to say in the urban world. Like I've heard Charlemagne
that's a
reference
recurring
it.
joke. That is a
Yeah,
recurring joke. Yes.
yeah. Like, so it's just it's very interesting, but I think he made the situation worse than what it was, and that's what I took away from it. The way he presented it, like I don't think anything, and I get once again, he was probably feeling a lot of stress. I'm not blaming him or her for what happened necessarily. I just think the situation was a mess by the presentation, and I think it goes back to their communication at that time. I don't think it was fully there.
So I'm going to say this. I don't put any of the blame on Diamond whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think she was asking fair questions in terms of like, okay, well,
she was just caught off guard.
Yeah, number one, she's caught off guard. Number two, we have known individuals who have married a woman.
Yes.
And eventually, later on in life, decided they would rather be with a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that could be a genuine concern about someone getting into a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's okay to have that concern or have that question, but I'm saying that's something that I could imagine someone just wanting to check, and that's what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. Because she doesn't understand. She can't relate to it because she hasn't felt it.
Exactly. And immediately, I imagine he was projecting onto her what he was afraid she was going to react.
Mm-hmm.
And it made him kind of unlikable, unfortunately. He called her the B word.
Yeah, he blew up.
He threw the ring, which I've never bought a wedding ring, but I'm imagining they don't start anywhere lower than 5 racks.
My question is, I wonder if they had to buy the wedding rings or if like it was the show paid for it.
So
because they alluded,
I'm assuming
that they did. I see, but like I felt like there was allusions towards, oh, I bought it. Like, I know they picked it out.
Could have been the show.
But I think I think the show bought it.
Now I know that if I was a producer on set that day and he threw that, I would either go to a PA or I would go to him afterwards and be like, "You better get that ring right now."
Well, and he does. And
he does.
Yeah.
And then Diamond doesn't make herself look great with the throwing the drink at him either. Yeah. It was a big mess. That's when it becomes a full blown. It's both of them, both their faults mess at that moment.
And it's just one of those things that, like, I felt bad in that moment, too. This is one of the moments of the show I felt bad that I was watching almost. Because you could tell it was a genuine, both of them genuine, just, like, upset fighting. It wasn't, like, scripted fighting, basically, where they were like, hey, you splashed a drink at him, blah, blah. Like, you could tell it was genuine. Like, he was, like, talking about her hair. She was, like, saying, like, and it was hurtful. Almost like it felt like they wanted to hurt each other in that moment.
Yeah.
And it felt weird watching.
It felt wrong. Although it did produce one of the greatest lines in television history, which I'm not going to repeat on this podcast.
No, yeah, I know what line you're talking about.
If you'd like to hear the line,
you could probably find that. You could probably find that whole fight on YouTube. So
somewhere on the internet.
Just click another tab, right click on the YouTube thing, click open tab, just tap, boom.
Boom. Now I'm aware we went long on those two, but that was a very integral storyline.
Real quick, I want to touch on the reunion episode where he does the friendship proposal.
Dude,
super weird, right? Doesn't make anything better. She didn't want it.
Spoiler alert: we're doing an award show, sort of thing at the end of each discussion, and one of the awards is that's cringe moment for Love Is Blind. Mm-hmm. That's a contender.
Yeah.
Because he gets down on one knee. Everyone's giving the eyes of like, oh my god,
what
is that
happening?
What is this?
He's just super awkward with it. It was weird. It was so weird. I didn't like it.
Super cringe. Super cringe. But again, so what I was saying was, there's gonna be certain people on this review that we don't really need to talk about. Like, I'll be honest, Kelly and Kenny, I only really need to discuss one point about them during the relationship, and
Yeah.
then the actual marriage situation.
Yeah.
And with that being said, do you want to just jump right into them?
Yeah, cool, because I have a fun fact about them.
Cool.
So obviously I had the
Go
fun
ahead.
fact of that they didn't originally make the cut. I think it's because they're kind of bland. They kind of just seemed like they would work together.
Oh, mayonnaise.
Yeah, super mayonnaise, the mayonnaise, because like they both were the same, and like
Friars.
they were so the same, which made everything shocking. Because like I took notes when I was watching this at a certain point because I was so excited because like we came up with this idea, and one of the things I pointed out was how well their families work together.
Yeah.
They just kind of clicked and they were like, "Yep, it's perfect. Everything
This
works
is
so
it.
well." That it worked so well. So when it did happen that they didn't end up getting married, I was so shocked. Right?
So here's where I kind of want to jump in. I had a small fear ever since the vacation. Now, I'm not going to judge when people should and shouldn't consummate their relationships. That's for everyone to decide.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you have decided to marry someone and you previously have been sexually active,
Yeah.
I think it's a little telltale if you are having trouble being physical with the person.
Well, I don't know if you also noticed they admit to doing other things.
Yeah.
So like I guess they fooled around, but they didn't actually have sex, which was like even weirder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Like that's even weirder cuz like you're getting to that point of
But again,
yeah, no.
we are more men. We're not women. It
Yes.
might be different for
And
everyone.
it's also understandable now because I don't think Kelly was ever attracted to him.
No,
Like she obviously just wasn't, and she was battling with that the whole time.
yeah.
Which kind of sucks because I don't think she was open with him.
No, not at all.
No, she didn't.
Not about that.
No, like she just made it seem like I don't want to yet. Like I don't want to ruin the relationship yet. Like, which is kind of shady.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's super shady. But yeah. What else do you want to comment on about their wonderful relationship?
That was the main one. That was the only real thing I
So
wanted
I
to
did
discuss.
like how Kenny stuck up for himself, right? When you watch the show, I like how he told the producer like this isn't the right time to be filming. Like that was
wait,
cool.
hold on. Are we having the marriage? The wedding discussion now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something I wanted to discuss though.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah. I think we should just go through each relationship, talk about all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The way that Kelly said no, I thought was the worst handled no of the entire show.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so excited to tell you this information.
Now I'm excited. Should I just go though, and then?
Yeah, go.
So I don't have the exact quote in front of me.
If I want the people watching that I'm like fiddling over here, like I've grabbed something on my desk to fiddle with while you're saying this because I'm so like amped up to tell you stuff.
So the way that I remember it being said on the show was, she said, "I do not. That is the decision I've come to, and I think you should respect that." That was what she said to the man she said yes to marry. She strung along for a month. She introduced him to her parents. She introduced herself to his parents, to his family, to his friends. Said, "I love you too." Said all this lovey-dovey stuff too. Just, this is what I've decided, and you should be okay with it. And then walked off.
Yep.
No conversation afterwards, nothing. And then on the reunion episode, she goes, "Oh, it was a mutual no." What?
I can explain that.
Please do, because I was so confused.
So, me and my girlfriend are big on Reddit. She was on the Reddit for the Love Is Blind to get some background information on things, see what we could find about production, just nerd out about it. And she found out that some couples, before they went and filmed the marriage thing, knew if one was going to say no or the other. They had that conversation so it wouldn't lead to the worst day of their fucking life. Possibly. Kelly told Kenny that she was gonna say no? Kelly, they knew already, which then was weird because then Kenny acted the way he did.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Like,
Are you sure Kelly's one of the ones who said who told him beforehand?
they had a conversation, like, and they said,
What? Wait, hold on. What's the source, though?
I don't know. This is what I found already. That's the thing. I mean, I'm a
little skeptical. I'm gonna be honest.
I understand, but that's because we liked Kenny in that moment. I think that's why. Like, we felt bad, and then he stuck up for himself. So it was like, yeah. But like, I'm just giving us another lens to look at it from. If it is true, right, that makes Kenny a really shitty person there. Like,
why is that?
Because I think he was hurt by her not wanting to, right?
Okay.
Even not in that moment of at the altar, but like just having the conversation, her not wanting to, and her not being attracted to him. He was hurt. So then he was like, okay, well, when we film this, how do I make her look bad?
Do you think he made her look bad?
Yeah, I think she looks super shallow.
But like,
if you don't know about the pre-conversation, because what could have happened was Kenny could have handled it for future's reference, like Mark. On the show, Mark kind of was like, he didn't like flip out, like he was kind of like just somber, like low key about it. Mm-hmm. Kenny didn't act that way. Kenny acted like super distraught, like, no, fuck, like, don't fucking talk to me, like, you think we're gonna do something in the future, like, pissed at the producer. And I think that made him like, it made it seem more shocked, right? So then
I don't see how that makes Kelly look like a bad person, though, because
it just seems so out of nowhere. In my mind, I was like, wow, like, Kelly, like, you're doing this all because, like, you didn't tell him that you didn't think he was attractive, and you didn't even give him a hint that this was going to be a no. Like, he truly believes that you're coming here today. Like, where Mark he was like teeter-tottered. I think Mark kind of knew.
Well, yeah, because Jessica told him like midway through that it could be a no. But we'll get to them later.
Do you think? I don't think Kenny had, like, if without this conversation happening beforehand, if that's not true, I don't think Kenny had an idea. Like, I thought he was like, for sure, like, yeah, this is definitely, obviously, like,
yeah, no, of course.
So I think that's why it makes her look bad, because she could have communicated some doubt in her mind.
Well, sure, but I still don't think so. Like, here's the thing. Mark still being distraught still makes Jessica look bad, because she.
Well, I mean, Jessica makes Jessica look bad,
but Kelly makes Kelly look bad too. And here's why. If that conversation did take place, which I'm very 50-50 on, because we don't know the source.
Well, I heard they all did it, not just them two. Like, anyone.
But again, we don't know the source. That's my thing. And for those of you who don't know that are listening to this right now, I'm big on sources. Because things get leaked from all over the place on the internet, and they just wind up not being true. I remember a year ago or 2 years ago now, Michael B. Jordan was going to be Superman. Never even was.
I like how you're comparing someone being hired in Hollywood to a reality TV production, if they had a conversation or not before.
Well, because this is all like rumored stuff, you know. So let's say that it did happen. Let's say that they didn't have the conversation. In that moment, Kenny gave a speech about, you know, during at the wedding, he says something along the lines of like, this isn't the outcome we expected. I'm hurt, but we'll get through it.
Yeah.
And then he leaves. He's out in the lobby. He's probably still hurt. He's probably not over the fact that this person he loves said no to him. Mm-hmm. The person says, do you think you're going to be together in the future? And he says, don't do that. Because I don't know about you, but I've been broken up with before. And even a week after someone asked me that, I'd still kind of be like, yeah. So to me, I don't think that he's making her look bad.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That's just me.
No, you're right. I think I looked at it the wrong way.
I think that maybe, like, so I appreciate her now as a human being more, having possibly told him that beforehand. Yeah. Definitely appreciate her more, and definitely don't. Because I think that the issue with the show is the fact that you're kind of toying with someone's emotions in that sense, where like
Yes.
it's you don't know until the moment it happens. That's
Well,
what I assume
that's the other
happened.
thing I heard that Celia Red Shoe said um, that they all had to. They were contractually obligated to film that scene, right? Even if
Oh no,
yes
of
or
course.
no, they had to. They did all that stuff. So all those 5 couples had to film the scene of walking down the aisle,
Of course.
which I'll bring up something else that she read about another couple,
Hmm.
what they were planning on doing, and then what ended up happening,
Hmm.
which kind of messed with emotions too.
Interesting.
But I don't really have much more on Kelly and Kenny because, like we said, they were blah.
The only thing that was interesting was them not sleeping together, and then the no that we all thought was very abrupt.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so now we can move on. Who do you want to go to next?
We should bang out the couples who didn't make it, and then we'll do the 2 that did. So do you want to do Mark and Jessica or Damien and Gianna?
Oh,
Giannina.
can we save Mark and Jessica?
Yeah, so let's do Damien and
Okay.
Giannina.
Were you shocked that I mean, all right. So let's go chronologically. In the beginning, both very beautiful people,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's a
Damien,
really attractive
I did
couple.
make a note that Damien gives me murder vibes. Like he looked like he was kind of emotionless during some things, and then other times showed too much emotion, and it just kind of weird. It looked like he might murder people. Like the conversation with Lauren at the table when he was kind of just like, how does that make you feel? Like there was an awkward conversation. Do you remember that?
Hmm.
Like that was really weird. What are you doing? It seems like you're like almost looking at her like you wear her skin. I don't know.
I what I took it as is a dude who maybe doesn't usually allow himself to get emotional like a lot of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But he could be a little bit. It puts the
Murdery.
lotion on the skin again type of guy.
He could be a little murdery, just a little.
He could be a little Silence of the Lambsy. Who knows? But yeah, both beautiful people. Um, but you know what's weird? Like a lot of beautiful couples I know, very fighty, very
Well,
fighty.
I have a reason for that. Right now,
Ooh.
I was told that I need to preface this by my girlfriend so I don't get doxxed or yelled at or canceled. Um. Also, she just texted me saying people were talking about it on Reddit. I don't think she has like a source, but she's gonna try to find it.
Okay.
So, but Gianna is a stereotypical.
Oh
Not
God.
that this is a stereotype about Hispanic women. I
I'm
don't
not
say
going
that
back on
I
screen.
believe this. I don't say I believe this, but me and Kyle grew up in a very
Don't
we
put
have
my
a lot
name
of
on this. Don't
we
you
have a lot
dare.
of Hispanic people around us, so we heard stereotypes about them a lot and whatnot. And they are just more feisty, right? So they might be a little more argumentative. I don't say I believe that. It's just a stereotype that gets spread around, in high school and stuff.
Sky John's crazy.
So I don't say that it's a true stereotype. There's a lot of stereotypes out in the world. I'm a ginger. I don't take souls. So, but I mean, she's feisty. She is a feisty woman. She's like my family, loud, like
She's not
loud,
afraid to speak her mind.
and we argue. Yeah, like that's just who she is, and I don't think he was ready for that.
No, no.
Nah, not at all. Like, and he got the first taste of it when he proposed, and she said no, and then counter proposed.
Can we talk about that? That was weird.
Bro,
Right?
so weird. And I get what she was thinking. She was trying to be like, I want, like, but that, like, you just ruined the whole proposal.
Yeah, like you don't answer a proposal. This isn't like a negotiation. You're not like, I see your proposal and match you one proposal.
And I
Like it's
raise
not
you my
poker.
proposal. Now we're double proposed, so.
Yeah, I see your diamond ring and call. Like
Yeah.
it's not. That's not how this goes.
Yeah, I didn't like it because, like, it was just
and,
weird.
and cards on the table. I'll say it. I'm not a fan of when a woman proposes. I'm sorry. I'm doing it. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know what? If that's your thing, cool. I just like if I got proposed to, I like in public too.
I think you laughed just like you did. Like the nervous, like.
you ever you ever see the videos of a dude getting proposed to,
And he
and he does the
shocked.
with the hands over the mouth? Like, come on, son. Like, you don't got to do that.
God, because if someone's watching this right now, could we isolate Kyle's face there and just someone Photoshop cut it out for me and send it to me? Because that was so magical. I want to put that on everything.
But this isn't as bad as that. It wasn't. It was still weird.
Well, no, I think it was just
a power move, to be honest.
It showed her personality there a little bit. Like her personality showed through where she's like needs to like come back with something. Like,
do you think you should have said no off rip?
No, because they do end up still like dating in the end.
No, I'm saying like, do you think that he should have been like,
nah, like,
when she was like, can you get up real quick and I'm gonna get down on one knee? Do you think you should be like, no, not at all?
Like yes or no, like just this isn't a conversation. Like yes or no. What?
Okay, ready? Let's try it out, you and me. So I'm Damien.
Yeah.
I have just said, will you marry me? Go.
Yeah. How'd she say it?
She said, I have a question for you.
I think she says no. She says no.
All right, well, let's go with that.
Okay, so no. I have a question for you. Can you stand up?
Nah, son. Is it no or yes? That's exactly how I would have said it. Chill, son. No. Tell me yes or no right now.
Damn.
No. Chill, son. You're bad, but no. That's not how this flies. I'm not standing up.
Oh God.
That's exactly how I would have said it. I was like, nah.
And then the producers just are sweating, pouring sweat from their armpits. Like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah, but that would have been great television. But anyways, let's get back to them. They're fighting all throughout the season.
Yeah, they fight constantly. Bicker.
There's a point where Damien's parents don't want to show up, which is like,
which they never met.
Yeah, but I have a feeling. So this gives credence to or credit, possible truthness to your point about them having conversations beforehand. Yeah. Although I feel like G didn't expect that at all.
So I have a little tidbit about this too. I have a tidbit on most of them that said no.
So maybe Damien's parents knew, like he told them beforehand, "Don't come here because I'm going to say no."
Yeah. So.
And now let's if you want, we can go straight to the wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yes, wedding comes. They go. She says yes, which I was shocked about. I don't know if you were shocked. Yeah, I didn't think she was going to say yes. I thought she was going to be iffy about it because I think her mom even was like right before it kind of like talked her out. I just didn't think I thought she was going to say no. And then he was going to be like, oh. And then he says no. Like, I was so shocked. Like, and then her personality shines through. She's running out. She's running down the block. And I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, stop. Just please. You're making yourself look so bad.
And then she literally eats shit.
Oh, God, yes, when she slips and falls. But then after that, so she slips and falls. Now has mud on her dress. She's raining out. She has her heels off. And then she runs onto a crowded street. Like,
top five worst things to happen to a woman. I'd imagine getting your dress dirty, your wedding dress, and then getting rejected at the altar. She had two things in one day.
And then running away from the place. So anyone driving down that block is like, there's a bride running down the street right now crying.
Boom, that's a trifecta. That's the worst wedding you could possibly have.
If you saw that, it would be hard not to try to take a picture. Because you don't see that in your daily life.
That's like
I wouldn't put it on the internet, but some
like
people would.
Pity, though.
But
you know
okay,
what I mean?
So look, they were on a crowded road. Think about how many people saw her. There had to be someone who did that.
Yeah, probably.
Which, I mean, given it doesn't matter in this situation because it's on a TV show, so it's cringe. It's ultimate level cringe.
Yeah.
But like, I literally put in all caps, "This shit ain't real." Like, I didn't like at that moment. I was like, "This is all produced. This isn't real." Now I reject those statements, and I do think it was real. But like in that moment, I was like, "I don't believe this. This is too good to be true." Like, because the production team was like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be the best show on Netflix." Like they were like, "This is we couldn't ask for this."
If I was the lead producer on the show, if she's running, I'm grabbing a cameraman by his collar and throwing him. Going, get after her! Go! This is the money shot. And when she fell, chef's kiss as a
So
content creator.
now the little tidbit of information I know about them and their previous conversation
Mm.
was, they thought they could be a couple, hence
Mm-hmm.
the dating after,
Yeah.
but they didn't think that marriage was right at that moment.
Okay.
So they both agreed to say no, right? Then so when she said yeah, like Damien thought that she was gonna say no, and then he was gonna be like I'm hurt, but I understand, type of thing. So then she said yes, and he said no because he was like, but like no, like no, like we knew that this was a. So then
Oh.
she just freaked out, like, because I think she got caught up in the moment and was like, got up there and was like, no, like, I do want to do this, like, yes. And then she was like, if I say yes, he's gonna be like swept off his feet, because I think he was leaning yes in the conversation, but was like, no, I understand that we should say no, and then, but so like I think it's I don't know. I think like I like having those pre-conversations in my mind because it makes it even more interesting.
That is interesting because
Yeah.
like that makes the situation seem more with her at fault, you know. But then but then that doesn't compute in my mind with the conversation they had afterwards
Of
with Damien and G
yeah.
when they had the conversation at the wedding hall, where she's like, "Yeah, explain to me, Damien, why you said no."
Well, so here's the thing. I wanna the way that I think of that is because one, that if they mentioned that they had the pre-conversation, the producers like, no, cut that out. We don't want to give like credence that they knew if they were going to do beforehand,
Yeah.
right? So maybe she was like, you were leaning yes in our conversation, like you wanted it, but then just agreed with me to say no.
Maybe.
So when I said yes, why didn't you say yes? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, that could be it.
But
But
what a
yeah, I mean,
puzzle.
I
Like,
wasn't really crazy about them as a couple, anyways.
no.
In terms of the show,
Which then
I don't know.
they still end up. All I'm saying is I wouldn't like to be their neighbors because
Yeah,
they're gonna have a
seriously,
lot of arguments. They're gonna
that,
scream,
that's a
bro.
loud couple.
Yeah, wild. And let's move on to the next one because I just for time's sake too, because I feel like
Yeah,
we could just
we're
keep
going long. This is a long podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah. Come back, pause, put us on 1.25 speed if you have to.
It's cool. Make it sound like chipmunks.
Yeah.
But
So Mark and Jessica.
okay, so you want to go Mark and Jessica
Let's do
now?
Mark and Jessica. Then we'll do the two couples who make it.
Okay.
So then we could change like our mind frames.
Cool.
Mark and Jessica. Wow. Like, wow. First of all, if there was to be if we had to choose like the worst person on this show, I think I would say Jessica. Because I just don't like what she did this whole thing. Like from the beginning, from the pod, she was like, Mark, like, oh my God. Because like their first date, they're like, this is perfect. Like they hit it off so well. And then she was like,
She makes Italian beef.
Barnett, which Barnett's a catch. It comes in that Barnett is a catch. We'll get to him in a little later.
Dude's a man dog.
Yeah. But we'll get back to that. So, but like she just flip-flopped so much. And it's like, you're one of the more mature ladies on this show, being 30, whatever you were. Like,
just for the record, John just called her old.
No. I said mature, like, as in, like, she wasn't like a 25-year-old, like, what was Amber, 25?
Something like that.
Yeah, like, you're not a 25-year-old like Amber. You're 30-something. You should have ideas of what you want. Like, I would think that she maybe would know what she wants more. Like, so you're, like, more precise. Like, oh, if I do find someone and click with them, like, yeah, this is right or this is wrong. Not flip-flopping back and forth. Leaving our poor boy Mark out to dry every other 5 seconds and then trying to make him fall in love with you again. Then, I didn't like her. I don't know if you can tell.
Originally, coming into this podcast, my least favorite person on the show was Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole scorched earth wedding day thing. You have shown me there's a possibility that maybe that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So I will concede that in the second half of the show, or well, post-pod, Jessica's character is the worst.
Yeah, but even in Pod, I had like vibes of not liking her. I didn't fully not like her, right?
For me, it was
So I was
Barnett
like,
in the
I
Pod.
understood.
Was the
Yeah,
worst.
yeah, it was Barnett in the Pod for me too. But then like, after the Pod, she makes things a million times worse, and she might have, for our awards, the most cringy moment. Do you know what
And
moment
we'll
I'm
get
talking?
to. We'll get there. We'll
All
get
right.
there.
But like Vacation, it was just so weird. Like
Yeah.
she's like, I can't like the body and him. I can't connect. Like,
And first of all,
girl.
I think I just clipped the mic. Sorry. First of all, Mark is a hot piece of ass.
Yeah, which she apparently got a lot of DMs about because she said that in the reunion show.
Dude's shredded.
Yeah,
He's a
literally a
fitness coach.
fitness. Yeah.
Nice guy.
No,
ambitious.
I get it. He's a little young, but girl, you knew that.
No, we know she knew that. She mentioned it every single episode.
I just don't. I don't get it, man.
Also, Barnett was only 4 years older than Mark.
Yeah.
So it's like,
which I get probably cuts the difference in half, but it's still whatever, dude. Like, I don't know, but I mean, we do learn that Barnett is like a perfect human, so
yeah, seriously,
it is what it is.
So, we've had a bit of the Jessica conversation. She is kind of annoying throughout the show a lot.
Mark,
my favorite moment of the show, though, with her is the first morning after the vacation, when everyone's sleeping with each other and stuff. Some of the women are in lingerie. They're shown being very happy and stuff.
Yeah.
They put a shot on Jessica where she's in like a gray oversized t-shirt, hair up, no makeup, looking sleepy as heck. No femininity to her whatsoever. And it was like, oh, I know where this is going. Instantly foreshadowed. Now what you were gonna say?
Mark is just sad.
Sad sack.
It made me so sad the whole time. Because, like, I feel like if it was a lot of men, they would have been like, I'm not doing this anymore, of this back and forth.
You know what, John? Can we save the Mark conversation for later?
Sure. Do you want to just, like, the little tidbit of what I know about their wedding, or?
Yeah. Okay. Give me that.
So, with their pre-conversation, they were going to switch it up a little bit. Because they had the conversation, she said, I can't do this, basically, right? She told him, and what they were going to do was have her kind of walk down in like a jumpsuit to be like allude to it. It'd just be different, I guess. So like it eases the room, like, oh, this isn't working. Like, this is a no. They have a conversation. Then maybe they talk about their feelings to production. And then I'm assuming if that was something they planned, production was like, no, we want you to come down in a wedding dress. So then they put the wedding dress on, and it made Mark think maybe she changed her mind. She's going to say yes. Which makes it this is why I like these pre-conversations. It makes it even more juicy, right? It adds another layer of reality TV show.
Yeah.
But and I can't blame Jessica for that necessarily, because I don't think that she would do that, because she doesn't seem like she would. Like, she seems like she's comfortable in a tracksuit or something.
Yeah, she also doesn't seem like a bad person.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
So,
but I could see how that would really devastate Mark.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna have the Mark conversation later.
Yeah.
And you, as a listener, will know when we're having it.
Yeah.
By the award we're discussing.
So their relationship was just a mess. I felt bad for Mark. Jessica is just, I don't think she really knows what she wants.
Did you like watching them, though?
Yeah.
I thought they were the most intriguing because I
you wanted to know if they were going to resolve it.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And with that being said, let's go to the apple of Jessica's eye. Barnett with his wife, Amber.
So I think everyone could agree that in the pods, Barnett's the least likable person.
The worst, dude.
Yeah, the least likable, because it looks like he's just playing with ladies. Like, and maybe that was production who did that too. Who knows? Because
they could have hammed him up a little bit, because at one point he does say, the ladies are all really feeling me.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And Amber does seem a little crazy. I'm just saying. I wasn't surprised when I saw her house. It just seems like she came from a rough
Be careful.
childhood.
Careful.
No, rough childhood.
Okay.
She grew up just different from him,
Okay.
which she did.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And at first I wasn't feeling them. I was like, I don't know if they really fit together. Like,
Yeah, me neither.
but then they
At
went on
first.
vacation, and I was like, oh, they do kind of. They're starting to mesh more. Like, I think they're working more. They both kind of like to party, they have fun.
Buckets of fun.
They joke. Barnett became so much more likable. He seemed sweet, like he could open up, have a conversation.
Barnett, for me, went from the least likable dude there.
To the most.
I don't want to spoil anything, but in my mind, he became the most likable person on the show.
Yeah. But I wrote Amber has a lot of baggage. I don't really necessarily remember why. Oh, her finances. That's
I was
why.
going to say her fiscal.
It's her finances. Because that's another thing about Barnett. He has his whole life together.
He's
Barnett,
an engineer.
He had a house, right? He's an engineer. He financially stable. Amber's $20,000 in debt. Apparently she wasn't. Remember how I said, when did she get her loans forgiven because she was in the military? She was in the reserves. She wasn't even in the military. So she went to college, didn't get a degree, was in the military reserves, which doesn't pay you or you don't get benefits.
I thought she was a tank operator.
Dude, in the reserves, they kind of fabricated all their. They just made things production-y because Cameron's a scientist. What does that mean? There's no just general job called scientist.
Well, no, he said he was an AI scientist.
Okay.
So,
we like it. I don't think she had anything going for her. She kind of honey dicked Barnett, and then I think he starts to realize that when she's sitting around just watching TV shows when they get to he literally says, "I don't know what she does all day, but I know she watched a show." Like he just kind of seemed deflated, which then I don't. Do you have anything you want to say about those parts?
So I was worried that Barnett was going to be the one to say no.
Me too.
When that happened.
Yeah, I didn't feel like they were definite.
But I do think he was able to move past that if he's a family man and he doesn't mind his wife being the homemaker, if he's cool with that role, then that makes sense and that's fine.
Yeah.
Him absorbing her fiscal issues, again, the show could help with that because they could make booking appearances, and that $20,000 can kind of get made up relatively quickly, like within a year.
Yeah.
Based off of what you can do from the show.
Plus,
now, granted, this whole situation that we have going on right now in the world does hamper that a little bit,
especially with the show got popular. I think it was a little popular before quarantine, but it popped during quarantine.
Yeah.
So people are super excited about now, have all this now. It's going to fade because I don't think quarantine's ending any time super soon. So I think that the Love is Blind, the characters in Love is Blind, the enamoration with them is going to fade unless they give Amber and Barnett a spin-off show or something. Then I don't think there's going to be anything with it.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll have to see. We don't know how long this infatuation with the show will last, whatever. With that being said, you want to go to the wedding if you have anything to say?
The wedding was just it was nice. It seemed very.
It was cool.
I liked it. Yeah, it was happy. They got together. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a fun wedding.
Barnett. I don't really have anything to add about the wedding. It was kind of whatever. Barnett's shoe choices. Barnett, if you're out there, you're listening to this pod, you're watching me. Hello, big fan. You're really tall.
Mm-hmm. We both have slight man crushes on you.
Yeah. If you need someone to help you with buying shoes, boots, sneakers, sandals, as it were, you can contact me. Tweet at me at BuffCharmander. Just let me know, hey man, need help with the fits? I got you. On your dime, of course. You're an engineer.
Yeah, but he does have a debt.
not my feet, not my problem. um, he wears like snakeskin boots when he proposes. Wow. And during his reception, I believe he puts on white sneakers. And yeah, just I'm willing to help a brother out with his wardrobe. That's all I'm saying. With that being said, let's move on to I think most people's favorite couple.
Pause.
Oh, go ahead.
I just have one thing to part about Barnett. No offense, if Barnett, if you are listening to this, you're getting a little weight. Because the reunion episode was filmed a year after they did the marriages.
Yeah.
So it's a year after, right? So they all lived a little. Barnett looks like he's in it rough, man. He's just he's in a relationship. He's settled in, and his face got a little chunky. I'm just saying. I saw it and I was like, looks like Amber's putting him through the ringer. Like, I love it. Yo, she threw out the D word at one point.
What D word?
Divorce.
Oh yeah, she did throw out the D word.
So
that was crazy.
I mean, which is something we'll end the Love Is Blind conversation on. Predictions for future the couples, but we'll get back to that. Let's move on to the last couple.
Cameron and Lauren.
My favorite couple. I had to put it out there, but
okay.
it's because of I think it's so relatable to me.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, John is a Cameron act-alike.
Yeah,
really.
I'm white. I'm in the STEM field. I do mathematics. He did science. We have a lot in common. Yeah. I mean, I wish I was built like him. Because dude was buff. Dude was tall
hot.
And buff. Like,
dude's hot.
Yeah, his personality was a little... I think I have a little more, like, personality going on in my face. He was just kind of always just like, yeah.
Well, he's into AI.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need charisma.
But then also I connect with them because I'm also in an interracial relationship. So it was just like, I was like, I want them to work. Like, I was gunning for them from the beginning. You know?
For the record, not with me.
No.
Just in case there's confusion out there.
With my girlfriend that I've referenced multiple times.
Yes.
But yes, they were my favorite couple. They seemed like they were the first couple that showed me that they could actually communicate. You know?
Yeah.
Like, or at least the producers showed to us that they could actually communicate.
For sure.
But yeah, like that was their relationship. I mean, I get why it wasn't shown as much as the others because it wasn't necessarily. Because I just think it was working well.
Yeah, it just wasn't as entertaining.
The biggest exciting thing was when Cameron had to meet her dad, which she did him so dirty. I would have been so pissed at her.
Dude, she left the room.
She was like, I'll just leave you guys here. If my girl did that, like, we'd be having a conversation after. Like, don't do that. That's mad awkward.
That's so
like,
foul. That's
like,
unless the producers told her to.
Yeah, because, like, it's not like she left them with a talking. They weren't really talking. It was silent, and she was like, I think I'll just leave you guys here. Like... But I think even with that, Cameron kind of won her dad over in that instance, which now I think he's done it more, from what the reunion show said. But it was kind of shocking. Now I wonder if they made her do this when she was saying that she was skeptical.
Of what?
Right before the wedding, like if she was gonna say like she had some doubt.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think that was kind of just like that was almost a production plant because they were like it's working too well. We need something to people wonder if you're going to get married or not. Like, yeah. Because coming up to the wedding, I was like, if they say no, I'm going to have to lay in bed for the rest of the day. Like, if they don't work out, like, I'm going to have to just kind of lay in bed, maybe get some ice cream and just like mope. Because I would have been heartbroken, man.
That would have been rough.
I'm so glad that they worked out. Seems like the relationship's going well. There's not really much to add to them because for me.
Yeah, no, nice people. They make content online now because that was what Lauren was doing before the show anyways.
I have to check that out.
Couples content, not for me. I'm, single dude living in quarantine, so I don't really want to be reminded that I'm single. So
living in quarantine?
Not my type of Johns. But God bless them. Good for them.
Yes.
Now, let's get on to the most fun portion.
The award ceremony.
The award ceremony. So, John and I have 3 primary awards for each show.
Yes.
The first award for Love Is Blind goes out to the biggest simp of the series and now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have the Mark conversation.
I'm so glad because okay. So here's the thing. I don't know if we're all gonna agree. If we're gonna agree on all three of these, right?
Probably not.
But this one we agree on completely, which is funny because at one point I thought Kenny. Earlier on in the show, I was leaning Kenny, right? I was leaning Kenny because not just because he just seems so like whatever she said he was complacent with. Like
it was a little simpy.
Yeah. But then Mark he took it. He was like, Kenny, can I see that real quick? And ran with it. He's a fitness instructor. He apparently does cardio because he ran with the simple word and took it home because he got bullied, bro. This older woman bullied him. Put him on an emotional roller coaster and just said, I love you. I don't. I love you. I want to fuck Barnett.
And you know what? I've been there, Mark. If you're out there listening, I was once a simp in my late teens, early 20s. It happens to the worst of us. You know what I'm saying? You find an older woman, very attractive. To you, at least. Maybe not to everyone. I found Jessica very attractive. Don't answer that, John, because, punk box out there listening. Don't get in trouble. So she tells you she's into you at least a little bit. There's a possibility of it working out, and you're thinking in your mind, all I got to do is win her over. I can't mess it up. That's all. So you try your hardest. You wear your best clothes. You introduce her to your homies. You talk about her Italian beef that she says she's going to make you, but we all know she probably isn't going to make you that Italian beef. She flexes on you with her salary. Shows you to her, beachfront property. You realize that there's a lot of things that aren't in common, but you still in the back of your mind go, you're saying there's a chance.
But she,
I know, but I'm telling you, man.
She said, I want to fuck Barnett.
You might have never been a simp, though.
Oh, God.
I've been in this exact scenario sans the wedding stuff. I've been simpy Mark. And it's easy to fall into, dude. It
seemed like, not like a emotional abuse relationship that you might normally think of, but she was messing with this poor young boy.
Well, that's the thing, though. And again,
it's not her fault.
Same scenario as my man Mark. She tells you, yeah, there's this other guy who I had a passing with, but he's gone, even though it's still clearly on her mind. But you're thinking no, I'm taking that dude's spot. You're not taking the dude's spot. It doesn't happen. That's not the way it goes. That's not how simps win. Simps win by not becoming simps anymore. And hopefully
Mark does that.
Hopefully Mark takes this biggest simp award home. He places it in his closet. He closes it and moves on with his life.
And then maybe every now and again he'll look at it and go, I'm past that. Just kind of maybe those days where it's raining out, there's lightning, it's dark in his room, and he's looking at the award, and he's just like, tomorrow I'm running. Or he goes out for a run after, he looks at it, and he goes out for a run, something super inspirational.
Oh yeah, he looks at it, he squints, turns his head, goes, never again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dark grittiness.
Yeah. And do you have anything else to add about the biggest simp?
No, but it kind of is adjacent to him that I kind of forgot about. Shout out Amber calling Jessica out.
Called her shiesty.
After watching all the clips of Jessica fucking just trying to hit on Mark. Are you sure that you really trying to steal that man low key on the DL?
Yeah.
Shout out Amber, because I do think she'd stab Jessica if it really came down to it.
For sure. Mark can't be here to accept the biggest simp award, so I'll accept it on his behalf for once being the biggest simp myself.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're moving on to That's cringe moment of the series.
Now, I don't know what your That's cringe moment of the series is.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, let's go. You go first.
So mine is actually a result of the simp award. My biggest ooh, that's cringe moment of the show was when Jessica drunkenly let it slip that she thinks Barnett is sexy to Mark.
Mm-hmm.
That I've never outwardly gone, oh my gosh, while watching a well produced television show in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it on YouTube a bunch, Twitter, and especially Instagram, but never watching a show where I was like, oh gosh. That was just the saddest moment I've ever seen a simp go through. And she looked bad, he looked bad. The only person who looked good in it was Barnett, really. It just, there was nothing enjoyable about watching it, to be honest with you. That was the least enjoyable moment for me in the show.
You want to know? Actually, I disagree with you here.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not just necessarily one, but a lot of it. The Giannina and Damien fighting. There's there's two instances in specific that really made me go, ooh, stop, please just stop.
Wait, can I guess?
Yes.
Was the one when she told him that when he says that he's having the best sex of his life, that she doesn't say it back.
Yes. That's one,
cringe.
right? That just made me go,
cringe.
ooh, just stop the combo. Just move on from the combo. But the other one was one that I think I cringe a lot at it because I've probably been in this in like one of the high school relationships where they're fighting in front of their friends.
Oh.
Like just screaming. Like you're in a common area of an apartment building, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen them. They're just like regular common areas. They have like a kitchenette area, a couch area. They're over by the couch area, just screaming at each other. And then they like show clips of other people, like the everyone else's faces, just going,
Cringing
like,
themselves, yeah.
Dude, it's like that just made me feel. I'm like, ooh, stop! Like, just I need you to stop. And like the Mark one, yes, it that did make me cringe, but I don't think as much as this because these hit home for me. Like the fighting in front of a couple, it just hit home, and I was like, ooh, I don't like it.
So I think I'll agree with you a little bit on the sex conversation one. I might concede to that one because that's like demasculating.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Because like, so Jessica didn't say the sex was bad with Mark.
Do they have?
Eventually they did. I don't know if at that time, but eventually they did.
Okay.
But Giannina basically said, your sex isn't great now. Which I do think eventually they found their connection and they did have good sex.
Her butterflies.
Yes. Good point. They found her butterflies. It sounds so romantic. I just want the butterflies. So hopefully everything's good with them now. Hopefully they're having good sex. But in that moment, I was just like, oh shit. She just said that your dick game weak. Like, ooh, that just, cause you know how like, if you hear that, like, it has to hurt, like so.
Oh, it's gotta be the worst moment.
At least me, I know I would just be like,
worst moment of your life.
I wouldn't be able to go on with a relationship.
No, you gotta break it up. You gotta break up.
Yeah, like
that's it. That's a wrap.
Oh, it would just that would kill me. So I think for me personally, I think that takes it.
That's fair. And you know what? We're already over an hour in, so I want to keep the next one brief.
Yes.
It's the penultimate award. Our favorite couple. Mine, I've alluded to it a little bit, is Barnett and Amber. Mostly because of Barnett. I think Barnett is just a really great guy. Seems compassionate, smart, has his stuff together. Mm-hmm. More considerate than I gave him credit for. Fun dude. Wouldn't mind grabbing a beer with him. And the reason I have them over Cameron and Lauren, there were some moments throughout the show where I was kind of like, you're landing on thick.
To Cameron?
Like, yeah, like during the vacation scene, at one point he says like, you know, I think all my life I was searching for you. Yeah. And it's like, dude, no, you weren't. You weren't. That's not what you were doing all your life. That's not possible. You were searching for a job in AI.
Yeah.
You were searching for green suits with cargo pants. You you
You
were
really hung up on these outfits.
you were searching for Team Jordans. You know, you were searching for a hip hop group in college.
Dude, he rapped.
He rapped, which I'm gonna be honest with you, was nearing the that's cringe moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a contender, but didn't make it all the way.
Because it wasn't so bad. Like, it was like, it had some validity where, like, it was like, okay, for a super nerdy white boy, that's decent, right? It wasn't like, oh my god, what are we watching level.
Yeah, I agree. So who's your couple of the show?
It's them. It's Lauren and Cameron, but it's mostly because I felt like a special connection with them. There was too many similarities between my relationship and their relationship in a sense. So maybe that's why if they didn't work, I would have just like thrown myself off a bridge. But like it was just connection. I understand the Amber and Barnett. But it's not it. Lauren and Cameron took the cake for me, which I mean is fine. This is the most opinionated. And everyone could have their own favorite couple here.
Yeah, for sure.
So, with that said, I think
real quick.
Yes.
What would you rate this season 1 out of 10?
Oh, an 8.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8. And there we go.
But that doesn't, guys. Like, now listen. That's our. I'm not saying the show is an 8.5. I definitely think watch the show. I just think with all this drama and everything that put together, 8.5. I do think other seasons could be better.
By the way, an 8 and an 8.5 are really good ratings.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if more couples, more juiciness, I think we could even have even better seasons.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which I think could be fun. I hope they do it again.
Well, I mean, also, not everyone can be a Jersey Shore season 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not everyone can have a perfect season of reality television.
Definitely,
it's hard.
Yeah. So now
let's
moving into the circle.